Okay, BMW E60 M5. So we're going to have a look at doing a brake fluid flush today. This is something you want to have a look at doing every couple of years, every 2 years, regardless of how many Ks you've done. The brake fluid's hygroscopic, it does absorb moisture over time, and it does break down as well. So this car calls for .4 low viscosity brake fluid. The only place I could find the low viscosity stuff was the dealer, so I've got this stuff here. But if you can't get the low viscosity, just regular .4 will do. And the way I normally do this, I do it by myself. I've got one of these one-man brake bleeding kits. It's just a wee tube. It's got a non-return valve on the end and just pushes onto the nipple there. I like using this system, it's nice and quick and easy. So I'll start off bleeding the right rear first, then the left rear, front right, front left. Okay. So first thing we need to do is access the brake fluid reservoir, which is hiding under the cabin air filter here on the right hand side on the right hand drive car. So there's a 13mm nut down here, just turn it 90 degrees. And then there's a metal retainer here just to push back. And then there's two electrical connectors to disconnect at the front of the cabin filter lid. And once you've got the lid out of the way, there's a T20 bolt down the front here. So we're going to remove the base of the cabin filter housing now. And three more plastic 13mm nuts, just turn them 90 degrees. So this plastic tray that runs underneath the wipers, it's in two halves. We just want to remove this half, obviously. So we'll remove the weather strip that runs along the front, and then this centerpiece here that's joining the two halves. It's just a clip to pull up there, and then it pushes to the left hand side of the car, straight out. Then there's another 13mm plastic nut just holding the two halves together there, so once that's just turned 90 degrees, you'll be able to lift this half of the lower housing out of the way. Okay, so now we'll get access to the brake fluid reservoir. First thing we'll do is just give it a wipe round, make sure there's no dirt around the top of the reservoir there, it's likely to get inside. It's worth leaving this connector connected when you remove the lid, otherwise it's likely to throw a code and then you've got to mess around deleting it. Now some people like to remove so much of the old fluid before they start, just pumping it out. I find that by the time you've messed around doing that, you might as well just push it through the open bleeder, so that's the way I do it. The biggest thing you've got to watch is, because we're just doing a brake fluid flush, fluid change, we don't want that level to drop so low that it's going to introduce air into the DSC system. Because if it does, then we've got to bleed the DSC system with INPER, ISTER or something like that. So you want to try and avoid that. So as the level comes down, as we're pumping it out, we're going to keep coming back to the reservoir, topping up just to keep that level maintained, because we don't want to let it drop down too low. Okay, so we've got the one-man brake bleed kit set up on the right rear caliper. So it's a 9mm spanner for the brake bleed nipple. Now I normally use a glass bottle with one of these just because there's a bit more weight to it. I find if I use a plastic bottle, once you start pumping, the hose will kick back sometimes and it can knock the bottle over. You've got a big mess to deal with, so it's just a bit more stable. Like this, you don't need any fluid in it to start off with because you've got the non-return valve on the end of the hose there. And the other thing you want to think about is don't press the brake pedal right down to the floor each time, because there'll be a portion of the master cylinder that isn't used normally and it could be dirty or a bit corroded, and then you don't want to push that through the master cylinder seals. So just push it down as far as you would do if you were braking normally, sort of halfway, 2/3 of the way. So what we'll start off by doing is, before we open the bleeder nipple, we'll just pump the brake pedal a few times to build up a bit of pressure, and then we'll crack this open. And then once it's open, just press the brake pedal slowly a few times to discharge some of the old brake fluid, recheck the level in the reservoir, top it up if you need to, and keep going until you get clear fluid through the hose there. You don't need to keep opening and closing the bleeder fluid between each press of the brake pedal, because you've got the non-return valve here, so that'll stop anything going back up the other opposite way. So you can see we've got the old dirty fluid in the bottom of the glass jar there, and the nice clean amber brake fluid coming through the hose there now. So we'll close her off and move on to the next one. Okay, so once you've been round and bled all four calipers, it's an 11mm spanner for the front calipers, by the way, 9mm for the rear. Now we'll have a look at resetting the brake fluid service light. So turn the key to position 2. Going to press and hold the trip button. See the brake fluid service light there. You can scroll through the other options. But that's the one we want, so we're going to press and hold the trip button. Comes up with reset, let go, then hold the button down again. And there we are, it's reset. So we're all good for another 2 years. If you found the video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.